Today, for once, I'm going to take a look at a NAS, one that's particularly well suited for beginners as well as pros who haven't yet fully dived into that topic before. Setting up such a network-attached storage is actually pretty straightforward. I'd also consider myself a newbie when it comes to a NAS, to be honest. So as an example, I'll take you along and demonstrate how easy the setup procedure really is, even with a 10 gigabit connection. Today I'm going to talk about the following device, the UGREEN NASync DXP4800 Plus, the version without pre-installed hard drives in it. As far as pricing is concerned, at the time of producing this video, we're looking at about $590 to $600 depending on where you purchase. The NAS is available on both the official UGREEN website as well as on Amazon, for instance. I'll put all the links into the video description for you, and if there are any discount codes available, I'll make sure to include those for you. This NAS allows for not only 10 gigabit but also 2.5 gigabit speeds. Furthermore, not only regular mechanical hard drives, but also lightning-fast NVMe SSDs can be installed to truly take advantage of the full 10 gigabit bandwidth offered. Today's NAS device, however, has a few more features up its sleeves. With a little luck, in this video you'll find out what these are and whether this particular NAS would ultimately be a good choice for you. Included in the packaging is, of course, the DXP4800 Plus NAS itself, a magnetic mesh dust filter that conveniently attaches to the rear right before the fan, plus there's an extra box with all the accessories in it. It basically contains everything you need, starting with the power cord and power supply with a rated power output of 150 watts, 2 RJ45 Cat7 Ethernet cables, screws along with a screwdriver for installing 2.5-inch drives, 2 thick thermal pads for M.2 SSDs, also included the manual with great instructions in it. By the way, we customers receive a 2-year warranty on the NAS, and last but not least, 2 so-called keys for the drive base. Kicking things off with the build quality, I can give UGREEN a huge compliment right away. The NAS features a very robust
aluminum alloy
case, conveys a sense of quality throughout, and also makes a very decent aesthetic impression. With dimensions of 178 by 257 by 178 millimeters, it's also extremely compact on one's desk. Obviously, we have 4 drive bays to work with. More on that in a moment. First, I'd like to cover the connectivity on here. Starting on the back with one 10 gigabit Ethernet, one 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, 2 USB 2.0 ports, as well as one USB-A 5 gigabit and an HDMI video output supporting 4K 60Hz. On the front, next to the power button, LED status indicators, followed by an SD card reader, one USB-C 10 gigabit, and another one of those, but USB Type-A. The variety and number of ports on here is definitely respectable for a NAS. I'd like to point out that a bandwidth of 10 gigabits corresponds to a maximum transfer rate of 1,250 megabytes per second, and that is actually achievable here. Now let's talk drive base. The DXP4800 Plus can accommodate up to 4 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch SATA drives, and thus comes with a total of 4 drive bays. However, you don't have to rely solely on quote-unquote slow SATA drives. You can not only upgrade or replace the DDR5 RAM on the device's bottom, but also install up to 2 M.2 NVMe SSDs. There's support for ones with up to PCIe 4.0 x4 speeds. Today, I decided to install a 3.0 x4 based SSD though. Since NVMe SSDs can generally get quite hot, it's advisable to use the provided thermal pads. Don't forget to remove the protective film on both sides. After that, the bottom cover can be screwed back on. For large mass storage, however, I prefer to rely on 3.5-inch NAS hard drives. In my specific case, I'm using 4 Seagate Ironwolf Pro HDDs, each with a capacity of 4 terabytes. But to keep the price down, you can usually safely opt for factory recertified drives. I've never had any issues with such so far. The drive bays unlock easily and can be pulled out nicely. By the way, these bays can be locked as well as unlocked using the 2 included keys. Now, by pulling the trays apart, you can insert 3.5-inch HDDs without the need for tools. 2.5-inch HDDs or SSDs can be installed too. However, certain preparations are required. A so-called fastening pin needs to be moved out of the way to make room. That pin can be moved to the front for now. The 2.5-inch drive can then be screwed into the tray as usual. I'd like to emphasize at this point that the maximum supported capacity of the DXP4800 Plus is currently a respectable 136 terabytes. This results from 4 30TB HDDs plus 2 8TB M.2 SSDs. Not only noteworthy but also praiseworthy is the fact that the so-called UGOS Pro NAS operating system is located on its own built-in 128GB SSD, a system drive one could say. This means that we don't sacrifice any of our own drive capacity for the OS, and we are also considerably more flexible when it comes to changing our configurations and whatnot. We can configure the drives to run in JBOD, BASIC, or RAID 0, 1, 5, 6, or 10. At the heart of the NAS is an Intel Pentium Gold 8505 CPU based on Alder Lake, sporting 5 cores and 6 threads. This is complemented by 8GB of DDR5 RAM, which can be expanded to a maximum of 64GB. Now for setting up the NAS, and that from the perspective of a beginner, which is what I'd actually call myself. We first connect the NAS either to our router or switch, which in turn is connected to the router. Then we power on the NAS. We can now go 2 different paths. We either do it the traditional way through a web browser using a PC or laptop, or we download the UGREEN NAS app on our phone. Once the NAS has booted up and is actually on our local network, we go ahead and enter find.ugnas.com in a web browser of our choice. Since I have connected the NAS to the router and directly to my PC's 10 Gigabit network card, I'm presented with 2 connection options, of which only one can work at this point, that being the option with internet access, basically the one connected to my router or switch. Now we go ahead and specify a custom device name. Then we create our admin account to access the whole web interface. I'm even able to select a profile picture. In the next step, you could link an email address to the account for remote access via UGREEN Link. However, this is optional and not required. In the next step, we allow the NAS to perform its initial setup on its own and thus exercise patience. After a few minutes, we are greeted by the NAS's start screen. While we could start configuring our drives right away, it's actually recommended to first update the operating system of the NAS, its firmware and the like. A few minutes and reboots later, we are at the login screen of the NAS web interface. Now to actually be able to use storage space, we now navigate to storage and create a storage pool. For the first one, I'm selecting my 4 4TB HDDs. Next, select the RAID type. Here you choose the one that suits your needs best. However, the manufacturer recommends RAID 5 for this number of hard drives. Afterwards, we are left with just under 11 terabytes of usable storage. The next step is to select a file system. I usually prefer ext4. Now the storage pool is officially created. Be warned though, the HDDs will be formatted, meaning any data on them will be deleted. Depending on the storage capacity, number of drives, and RAID type, this part can easily take a few hours. After a dangerously lengthy coffee break, my first storage pool has now been successfully created. But since I also installed a fast M.2 NVMe SSD, I'm creating a separate pool for this really fast storage. This process doesn't take long at all with the basic configuration. Just to clarify, installed SSDs don't necessarily have to serve as storage, but can very much serve an effective purpose as an SSD cache for the installed mechanical drives, thus significantly helping improve the performance of the mass storage in everyday life. Status and temperatures can be clearly monitored within the storage menu. Of course, we can also connect external drives via USB. Essentially, a NAS is just a small PC too, after all. To access our storage in operating systems such as Windows, Mac OS, Android, iOS, smart TVs, or web browsers in general, we need to enable the SMB service. To do this, we go to the control panel, but leave the workgroup name as it is here. Further down below, we'll find user-friendly instructions along with the addresses for accessing our NAS, for instance, within Windows. However, I'd like to point out that I have two active connections going on for my NAS today. One is 2.5 gigabits, while the other is 10 gigabits. If I were to try to access the direct 10 gigabit connection, I would only get an error message. This makes sense because in my case, internet access is provided by the 2.5 gigabit port connected to the router. Normally, a 10 gigabit capable switch would be recommended in such a case, which practically combines both internet access and the 10 gigabit bandwidth, to put it in dangerously simple terms. Luckily, the UGREEN NAS is flexible and feature-rich enough to also offer network bridging, so I could bind different IP addresses to achieve 10 gigabit speeds with my direct link connection. We now see a combined bound connection. My NAS is now actually accessible through that listed IP address now. All that remains is to enter my login details. The connection has now successfully been established. However, we cannot yet transfer any data to the NAS. We first need to configure the Files folder and create personal, shared, or user folders. Initially, we are guided to create a personal folder, but I find it wiser to create a shared folder instead, especially if multiple users should be able to access data. To do this, I create a folder for the HDD mass storage, grant myself full read-write permissions, and immediately create another folder afterward for the installed NVMe SSD. If I now access the IP address of my NAS, the folders I just created will show up and are accessible. My initial speed test, the transfer of data to the M.2 SSD of the NAS, went perfectly. The 10 gigabit connection certainly is active because such speeds clearly would not be achievable over 2.5 gigabits. We also get a recycle bin for deletions, by the way. Now, the transfer of data to the 4 installed HDDs naturally takes considerably longer and ultimately depends on how fast the HDDs are. In any case, I can't complain. I'm very happy with that. The access times are as expected. For quick backups to the NAS, but also for content creation, as in my case, working directly from the NAS works like a charm without any unpleasant speed drops or interruptions. I'd also like to mention that the NAS can be accessed using our specified device name if you don't like remembering IP addresses. To ensure faster and easier access in the long run, you could of course create shortcuts or rather map such network drives within operating systems such as Windows. At least that's what I tend to do. Now let's talk a bit about the UGOS Pro operating system. Fortunately, there are all sorts of customization options available. Among other things, WOL Wake on LAN is supported, but an UPS can also be connected in case of a power outage. Needless to say, we don't necessarily have to access our data via Windows Explorer and the like. We can in fact access it exactly the same way using the UGOS Pro OS via the web interface on our phones, tablet, etc. Many people tend to use a NAS as a storage location for their personal videos and photos. These can be viewed and played back smoothly. Generally speaking, we have tons of customization options, settings and so on at our disposal, but they're not actually overwhelming for beginners. And that's an approach I very much welcome by UGREEN because I too would consider myself a beginner when it comes to a NAS. Finally, I'd like to address the apps. The UGOS ecosystem is still fairly young. As a result, the number of available apps is still quite small, but there are already some essential apps that are very common for a NAS. Among them is an app that automatically synchronizes and/or creates backups. A highlight to some will be the Photos app, with which you could optionally download intelligent AI models to organize photos by people, pets, or objects, and even search through those albums using keywords. In my case, however, this only works to some extent with fairly abstract images of computer components and the like, but at least there's certainly some accuracy proven. With normal, ordinary photos, not ones by me, basically photos with people, animals in them, and nature, it should work much better. Conclusion. The UGREEN DXP4800 Plus NAS won me over right away. The manufacturer offers a very user- and beginner-friendly setup, keeping everything simple yet functional. I would describe the performance as excellent for my content creation use cases via the 10 Gigabit connection. The noise level of the NAS is consistently quite low, I'd say. The HDD and SSD temperatures remain perfectly within their acceptable ranges, even under load. Of course, the fan speed can also be manually adjusted, but why would you even bother with that? On top of that, the UGREEN NAS boots up in just over a minute until it's fully functional and data can be accessed. Shutdown, in contrast, takes only a few seconds. I also believe the price-to-performance ratio for such a complete off-the-shelf NAS is extremely good, especially considering the variety of connectivity offered and above all, the 10 Gigabit Ethernet port. Therefore, the UGREEN NASync DXP4800 Plus deserves a very strong recommendation from me. Now my question for you out there, do you use a NAS? If so, which one and how much capacity? As always, I'd greatly appreciate a like, but would also somewhat survive you leaving me a dislike. With that in mind, thank you all for watching, and until the next one.